Because you know why? He's a Frankenstein's monster. Ugh, he's grotesque.
He's so grotesque.
This is part of the lore now, is that we have Frankenstein monsters fighting in the U.S. Army.
Boy, this is always a challenge.
It's always hunting season.
And then it's always hunting season.
Wow, what a landing! Yeah, a 3-point landing on a 1-point head.
Only one bat I know who could do that.
You mean? Yeah. Oh, hit the silk hunchmile. 8,000 miles from home, and I run into a blood relative.
Hey, there's a message for you, Dad.
Oh, take a leg there, Hunchy, and let's have a look.
What does it say?
Acme Mausoleum is up 3 1/4. Good. Igor and Lucretia. Now we're coming to the blue chips. Cousin Wolfbane's twins, Igor and Lucretia.
Are arriving Thursday, 10 a.m., International Airport.
Well, it looks like Cousin Wolfbane's children are going to be visiting us for a spell.
Hello and welcome to another amazing episode of Munster Hunters, the only show that dares to shun millions, possibly billions, approaching trillions of hours of new, original streaming content to revisit, well, in this case, a 49-year-old cartoon about a sitcom about a Frankenstein's monster and his grotesque family. I am Derek, and I'm a Munster Hunter. Joining me, the keeper of, what is that thing called? Holy shit. The Munster Hunters Almanac. I don't know why I couldn't remember what the word was.
Dude, you stuck the landing on that first part, and so yeah, if you can't remember the almanac, that's fine. But you nailed that first part.
So and I didn't even plan the first part. I just realized when I was saying it. Whew, what a day. Keith.
Hello. This is Keith. I am also a Munster Hunter.
And across the way you lined all that up, Keith, I thought you had more to share.
Well, I did, but I figured I'd wait till Terry joined.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna start the timer. There it goes. And then across the table, the Frankenstein-headed monster table, is the Dr. Dre of Kansas, Terry.
Hello. I thought you were about to say I was the Frankenstein-headed member
the Frankenstein-headed Dr. Dre of
That's
Kansas.
right. I know I've got kind of a flat head, but I don't know if it's quite Frankenstein monsters level.
I know I have a big square head, so sorry, I relate to Herman so well.
Is the table shaped just like Frankenstein monster, like generic, or actually like Herman?
Which one's more compelling, you think?
Well, I think
I thought it was just a table with the Frankenstein's head on it.
Oh, just like a round table, and we just have like a
Frankenstein head.
Oh, I thought it was like carved out to look like possibly like Herman's head.
Okay, either way works.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Cup holders.
Yeah.
And I mean, the microphones sit very nice on it. It's a very good studio you got going here. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't question the rest of it.
The audio, it resonates perfectly, like the shape of a Frankenstein monster's head, like the way the audio flows through it, vibrates through the wood in that particular shape. That's gold.
Mm-hmm.
That's real gold right there.
And how you have the little those little bolts on the side of his head just to hang your headphones on. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, those are the things I like. The bolts.
Yeah. Hey, you do mention that we're shunning all the streaming networks.
Yes.
I feel like the streaming networks are they're swinging back by moving the Munsters.
That's true.
Behind the paywall, basically. There.
That is true.
If I want to keep watching this, or maybe I just go buy a DVD copy. I think it's available.
DVD copy. I've seen lots of praise for it on Twitter the other day.
That's right. Hey, I can vouch for it. It's got all the episodes on there that I need so far.
All the episodes that you need.
So far.
It's got everything I need. The Munsters.
Yeah. Was this on there too? Color. Was this thing we're talking about today on there also?
Oh, no. You gotta dive deep to find this thing.
Yeah, this one was. Whew. So before we get going today, everybody doing okay? Doing good?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Nice.
That's very exciting to be here. Talking about something a little different,
Yeah.
Changing it up just a little bit. It feels good.
we're like in the middle of the first season, not quite the midpoint, but close enough. And Keith, in his readings from the almanac, the last episode, spoke highly about a cartoon that came out in 1973 called Mini-Munsters. I said, hey, let's do that. Let's take a break. Because Keith, as we all know, when he's not here with us, does another show called That Was Great, wasn't it? Where they watch old cartoons. And I figured, well, it's the perfect crossover episode.
I think you're right, yeah. It seems like the perfect fit. It's got Munsters, it's got cartoons. They're not many, but they are animated size, I guess. I guess if like in terms of like tiny televisions on my
some of them are mini. Herman is not, but the rest of them seem kind of mini.
And it's definitely not a mini episode.
Oh no, it's
like this thing clocks in at like 7 hours. I don't know what it is.
Oh god, it's jam-packed full of content this episode. Yeah.
No, was it like 40-something minutes?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So this would have been an hour-long television extravaganza back in 1973.
Right.
Well, it kind of was because it's the Super Saturday Showcase movie or something. Movie Showcase or something. It's as bad as the Almanac name. But I didn't realize that this was part of some sort of like a ongoing series of, I guess, short films that they were short animated films that they were putting on all the time.
Yeah, I don't necessarily remember this as part of the Saturday morning lineup, but I wasn't
thinking this was even part of Saturday morning. I kind of thought maybe this was on it at a different time of day, maybe like a prime time thing even.
No, I assumed it came on at like noon. Yeah. It was like the bridge between cartoons and bowling.
Yeah. Or monster trucks if I want to keep referencing back to something else I'm doing, but
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because it had they showed like Popeye and
Yogi Bear was on there.
Yogi Bear, like a whole bunch of different things. I guess got this like 1 hour treatment to them. Mm-hmm. Most of them seemed like they might be a little more logical options for timely. I'm guessing maybe there was like some kind of like a, like Sony always has to like do something extra with like the Spider-Man characters or they'll lose the license. Yeah. That's what this kind of felt like.
Yeah, they were just doing something.
Yeah. Just if we don't run the Munsters now, we won't have it anymore.
Well, and there was like a Frankenstein's monster like in that like little preview commercial for the Saturday morning thing. Mm-hmm. But it was not Herman, so
yeah, that was weird. Yeah.
They've already got the grotesque creature niche filled, it seemed like to me. But hey, why not try expand it with some Munsters action?
Yeah, because this comes out almost 10 years after the Munsters debuts.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so we're in the 70s. Let's bring the Munsters back for fresh fun. I don't know. Keith, I remember correctly, they said they were going to try to make a spin-off of this. Like this was going to be a pilot.
Yeah, that's what they seemed like it was doing. They wanted to see if they could garner enough fan base to probably do a Saturday morning cartoon run, which tons of shows at that time. That's pretty much what all of them were kind of like a short run thing, and then hopefully you got picked up beyond your 6 or 7 episodes through 13, and then future seasons. But a lot of one-offs. So I'm actually surprised they didn't do this because there's all types of other. I think there was an animated Addams Family show I think that came out at one time. There's a Gilligan's Planet where they go to space.
Ooh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and there's other things similar to that where like the Mini-Munsters would fit in perfectly, like into the Saturday morning cartoon world. So I'm very surprised that they didn't continue on with it like this.
Well, I without further ado, I say we just crank into this masterpiece.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
Crank into it. So it's called Mini-Munsters. This thing opens up with a character we've never seen before. Not even a Munster that we know of.
Yeah.
And he's sending a message to Herman, cousin Herman. Why? I can't remember.
To let him know it's the whole bat thing with the clip. Those
yeah,
kids
but why is he sending the message?
I guess just to tell them that they're on the plane.
Oh,
or
yeah, I
heading that
guess
way.
so.
Yeah.
There's nothing
And,
dire
and
about
some kind of like
No.
stock, some kind of Transylvania stock tips as well.
it. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Transylvania stock tips.
And a
Here's
mysterious
a
warning.
little bat. What's that?
And there's a mysterious warning on it as well. But
Oh, yeah. We'll get to the warning soon.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So there's a bat with a helmet and like,
A sword.
He's got like
A
a knife in his
sword?
boot. Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't German.
No, I don't know
But
what it was. It's
what
Transylvanian, I guess. I don't
Influenced?
know.
I guess.
Adjacent?
Eastern European in nature.
Yeah, generic army outfit, I guess.
Yeah. They give the note to the bat. It says, go to Cousin Herman. And
Yep.
it's like, take a left at somewhere.
Albuquerque.
No, it wasn't Albuquerque. It was
Germany,
like, take a
I
left at
think.
Germany,
And then keep
And then-
going.
8,000 miles straight ahead. Great.
and then-
So that's what we got. We start Mini-Munsters with a character we have no idea who it is, with a comical bat. But then we get to the Munsters' house. It's raining over it. Classic.
Of course it would be.
Grandpa's blowing shit up. Classic.
Yep.
By the way, I do like the animated house.
Oh yeah,
Like
it's very
the
cool.
vibe to it.
Mhm.
It's kind of like a little bit like something like the Charlie Brown type animation. It's got like
You know-
that same similar vibe to it.
It felt like those years of Tom and Jerry that everyone hates, or kind of like the animated Rudolph, not the wood animation,
Oh, yeah.
but
Mhm.
when they did like, was it like the
Rudolph's Christmas in July or something.
yeah or whatever,
Mhm.
where there's like the Father North. What do they call? What's the
Father Winter? Or...
yeah? It's like it has a spot in my memory. I just not a very good one.
I know what you mean, though. It's got like
Oh.
that very, like, kind of old school. Yeah, really. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like looks like really drawn on there, but like maybe not always in a bad way. It has a kind of a style to it, too.
But you get the real good vibe of like the feel you're supposed to get when we're watching the normal Munster show of rain and clouds and lightning and everything just
Mhm.
over the
Yeah.
Munster house, while everything else is like picture perfect.
Yes.
And I really like
Mhm.
that this kind of really showed that off really nice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They did do that for sure. So we see the outside of the house, rain, yes. Grandpa blowing stuff up. Herman playing checkers against Spot,
Yep.
and he loses. Lily is trimming a sweater for Eddie, which I think was a joke from the Addams Family.
Yeah, I thought I remembered it. Like, was
Yeah.
that the Adams Family where, it was...
It had 3 arms on it or something like that.
And she was like...
And a really
getting it
long
ready
neck.
for the uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a sweater and trying to
Mhm.
fix it.
Yeah.
So Lily is doing that. And then we hear the clip that we opened up with. The bat comes in from 8,000 miles from home.
They
and
call him some weird name. What did they call that bat?
I
They're
don't
all...
know.
I could not understand what Grandpa said,
Yeah.
but he called him something. It was
No,
really
the
weird.
audio
But
is...
he is a blood relative.
Yes. And Grandpa's very excited to see him. Like, holy shit, I haven't seen you in hundreds of years.
And also, just real quick, as these guys start to talk, Al Lewis is still Grandpa, but
Oh,
everyone
yeah.
else is completely recast in this.
Oh, for sure.
I
I think we heard
think
them
it's a
all
little
up
weird. I mean, like Fred Gwynn. I mean, he's not dead or anything at that time, but they put in Richard Long as Herman. You get Cynthia Adler's in there as Lily.
I like how you drop
Bobby
these names
Diamond.
like anyone knows who they are.
Well, Cynthia Adler, I think, is a well-known person. Henry Gibson, Ron Feinberg, and
Is she?
Stuart Getz. That name sounds familiar to me.
Oh, okay. So you had the list in front of you, but you don't know if
I
she's
got a
a well-known
Wikipedia in
person.
front of me. Okay.
All right. Well, I've never heard of that name. I mean, the name Adler isn't. Irene Adler was Sherlock Holmes's girlfriend.
Cynthia Adler, she was on the Muppet Show a lot. Also, a lot of ABC Saturday morning stuff.
She was in a Double Mint commercial. You should know these things.
Brain Game. She was in She Devil. She was in the Coneheads cartoon. She was in Rudy and Frosty's Christmas in July. Holy shit, that is actually a thing.
I'm telling you, you're listing off a bunch of stuff that no one knows this person from. No,
No, I think people would would recognize her
No,
from stuff.
Keith,
But
I'm going to argue
okay,
this one
let's
to
just
my
keep on.
grave.
Look,
No
I'm
one
not.
knows this person.
No, that name sounds very familiar to me. So I just want to mostly mention only Grandpa Al
Yes.
comes back for this, which I think is weird because I don't think many of those people are deceased in 1973. They should have been able to recast everybody.
Well, I'm sure it costs money.
Mm-hmm. They might have just been like, we're not doing some animated
Grandpa
thing.
Lewis just does it for free because he's like, that's who I am.
Yeah, he's Grandpa. Or they spent the whole load on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm
Maybe.
glad he's
In the
back,
bag.
honestly. Yeah. At least somebody sounds like I think they should sound in this. That's nice.
And only barely.
Yeah.
So the bat comes, and then there's a knock at the door or something. And for some reason, there's two mobsters at the door
Yep.
looking for the oil refinery.
They're asking for directions. Oh, boy.
Which is weird because a little bit later on, and not to jump too far, but it seems like they live there in town.
Yeah, hey, maybe they just got turned around. They're in a new town or something.
And it seems like they have the guy who would know how to get there, and they're back.
Well, we
in
haven't
their-
got that far, Terry. Don't spoil.
Oh, sorry. You're right. Ooh. They're perfectly
But the
normal
one guy
men.
talks like this. He's like the Godfather. It's like, how do we get to the oil refinery? You know, they all sound like generic mobsters.
Yep.
Like they've all got pieces of cotton shoved up in their mouth.
Yeah, just like what's his name? Stella. What's his name? Marlon Brando.
No, Marlon Brando, that guy.
Yeah. So anywho, they're looking for the oil refinery. Can't find it. Grandpa happens to know where it's at because he used to date a woman there. Is that what he said?
He knew an old widow there,
That's
and then
what it
she
was.
died. Yeah.
And their eyes all raised to that. They're like, "Oh, old
Yeah.
widow."
He's. I should look.
Well, and
her
he
up
also wants to
sometime.
go look her up again too.
Yeah.
After her death.
So
That classic monster joke, not monster joke. Maybe it's a little monstrous, but
yeah, that's right, because she's dead.
Yep.
They want to look her up.
Yeah.
So they go, and they apparently have someone kidnapped. The guy that owns the oil refinery.
yeah, he's like in charge of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're driving off, and then we get the Not Banger.
Oh, this is a big disappointment. Yeah, where is the theme song? I've been waiting.
There's
still
no
waiting to hear
cartoony
it
theme
today.
song. There's nothing.
Yep, I thought we'd at least get like a cool new version of it or something like that,
Nope.
but no attempt made whatsoever.
We just get the title Mini-Munsters.
Yes.
And you're like, Mini-Munsters? This doesn't make any sense.
Are they gonna shrink or something?
Yeah.
No.
We'll find out.
Maybe, but
So then we come back, right?
Mhm.
And Eddie is a teenager and he plays drums.
Mhm.
And he is not excited about the cousins coming because they're probably some lame Transylvanian lamoids.
Yeah, so Eddie's like a normal-esque person, it seems like. Like he doesn't like all the weird stuff that the
How old
monsters
is
do.
he when we see him when we're watching him in the current show?
I think he's 10 in the show.
Okay, so if that's like 64 and 65, so then 8 more years. So they do say he's 15 in the thing.
He's
so
15 because he has his birthday in this episode. All right, so he doesn't want to deal with these lamos, and Herman said, "Does Herman say Eddie's ruining his life?" That's what I have it written down here.
Something like that. Yeah.
So the first thing is Eddie's like, I don't want to just go and out on some hill and like howl
Yeah,
with them.
I don't
And
wanna howl
Herman
at the
says
moon.
something about, well,
That's what
if that's what you're doing, that's what normal kids do, which I think is a great callback to that very first episode when the babysitter's questioning some howling, and Lily's like, well, that's normal. I thought that was good. But then, Herman says he's wasting his life, or he's ruining his life playing football, surfing, studying, and playing the drums. I got a feeling it sounds like Eddie is doing everything correct right now.
Well,
he's acting out. Yeah,
He is an
teenagers.
athlete. He's taking up surfing. He's studying also, so he's not just blowing it off there. And he's playing the drums. He's in the band.
He's going on dates too, he says at some point.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Something about my last date. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you what. I wasn't 100% engaged in this. I wrote notes as best I could.
You know, I don't blame you. I don't.
So we get there, and Herman's like, "Listen up, kid. You're going to the airport to pick up your cousins." And they're all going to the airport in the Munster coach. and they're all coughing and crying. It's because the smog. There's so much smog in this city. I'm assuming it's Los Angeles area.
Yeah, they were going to
They
LAX.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, it said international airport, but LAX was written there. Yeah, they're crying. There's so much smog, nobody can see.
Yeah, they think it's the fresh air at first that's making them all cry, but it's actually the horrible pollution.
Yep.
So bad that like the helicopter weather report guy is commenting on how horrible it is to live
Yeah,
down
the
on
Greek
streets.
chorus is involved. It's the traffic report people.
He's like, it's great. It's great out here if you're looking up. If you look down, though, and they look down, it looks like some kind of like post-apocalyptic thing.
Yeah, it is Mad Max.
And this is 73.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
there's
imagine
a lot
how
of
bad it probably is now.
Yeah, there's a lot of shitty smog back then, Keith. They changed a lot of rules. Back then, they leaded gasoline, right? So
true.
the Greek chorus in this 40 minutes is the traffic report people. They're always there to fill in the blanks for us and cross the river that might be too far, just to explain some plot. And so there they are. They're like, great day if you're 20,000 feet in the air or something like that.
Yep.
I'm like, okay. So they're looking at all the smog. The Munsters, they're crying and coughing and making their way. They get there, and then they're at the airport, and it's 73 pre 9/11, so they can go wherever they want to. They're monsters. No one's going to stop them.
Not even at the airport.
Nope. Herman is looking into a window, combing his hair, brushing his teeth. I can't remember what he's doing. He's trying to make himself look good for the cousins.
It's like a one-way mirror type.
It's a one-way
thing,
mirror.
yeah.
It's a weird situation. Nobody sees him until Herman, in classic Herman fashion, breaks the mirror or the glass simply by looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I loved it. Another callback. It was great.
Yeah. Then, well, this one makes it the Munsters, right? Like, here's the Munsters, but we're not many yet.
And then
Herman breaks the window.
Doesn't
and
Herman
the
say
airport.
his catchphrase? He goes, "Oh darn, darn, darn."
Yeah, he even got some darns in there too.
For some reason, that's
No
his thing in this
fiddlesticks.
show. He says that a lot.
Darn it, darn it, darn
Darn
it,
it, darn it. Yep.
So he breaks the glass, and everybody sees Herman, and then the airport clears out in classic Munster style.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, yes. And then Grandpa, well, Herman says, not a very busy day. Well, he doesn't say it like that. Not a very busy day here at the airport, because Herman's voice is markedly different than
So different.
television TV show Herman. So they're like, yeah, must be a slow day, not a lot of travelers. And then they're like, oh, I wonder when the airplane gets in. And then there's the announcement, the flight from Transylvania will be arriving in 7 minutes. I'm like, oh, okay,
Flight
great.
13.
Oh, 13 minutes?
No, Flight 13.
Oh, Flight 13 will be arriving in 7 minutes. And they're like, sweet. So Grandpa's got a plan. He brought a bunch of potions with him in classic Grandpa style. And he used the potion to turn into a bat.
Yeah,
Which was-
how original.
Yeah, very unique.
He's
well,
like,
he's explaining that like he wants to surprise them when they get there and like some kind of like a great hey, welcome to our world. It's like, oh, what I used last time. One time he says he's a wolf man. Another time he says he's a dragon.
yeah.
And this time, I'm just gonna be a bat.
Yeah, he wants to try something new, so he turns into a bat.
But he does something very unique, though. He flies up into the sky and skyrides.
That's true. That's true.
He does.
And then the Greek chorus is there. Well, that's crazy. I've never seen a skyrider do this before.
Yeah.
And they pull the binoculars and like it's a little smiling bat or
it's
a bat with a human face or
Yeah.
something. Like, huh. But Grandpa takes the effort and he writes out, "Welcome, Mini-Munsters."
So that's who the Mini-Munsters are.
That's who
these
the
two new
Mini-Munsters are.
characters.
That's where the title comes in.
Yep,
You're like,
yep.
oh, they're the Mini-Munsters? So then, I was thinking, because Keith said this would be like a pilot for a spinoff. So the cartoon was supposed to be about the kids and Eddie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet.
And their band and probably Spot and solving mysteries.
Yes.
Sounds familiar.
So they're back. Eddie not having it. Igor and Lucretia show up, and they're cool as fuck.
Oh, they're so cool. Oh my god.
They're cool.
They know all the lingo. They're like
Yep.
high-fiving each other. They've got
Yeah,
their
they're slapping
guitars
some
out.
skin.
Yeah.
Give me some skin.
These guys rule. Oh, man.
And Igor is the little Frankenstein man.
Yep.
And Lucretia is a normal teenage
Whatever
girl.
Lily is, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. But they're cool. And they play music.
So cool. Yeah.
Oh, man. Eddie is smitten with them.
Mm-hmm. You can tell they're going to be best friends. This is all going to work out just fine.
Yeah. There's no conflict whatsoever.
No.
Yeah, he goes from 0 to 60 immediately, and
He goes 6 to 12 in a second.
Like, I think they're cooler than Eddie was, honestly.
Oh, hell yeah. Eddie's feeling inadequate now.
Oh, they should have turned their nose up at Eddie when they got all that.
See, that's what I'm saying. No conflict. None of them had to win each other over. They just came in. They're like, hey, we're best friends now. Yeah, right-o, daddy-o.
Yeah, just like that, too.
And the music thing is what they immediately connect on, but they never even show them talking about it. Like,
Nope. They just start playing
That's
music.
how cool they are. They're ice cold. They can just pick up the instruments and they can speak through music, man.
Yep.
You know how it is. You just speak through your soul, dude. Yeah.
it's the Dr. Dre of Kansas. I'm going to take it that you know what that is much more than I do.
Terry goes to the airport regularly and just connects with people.
I just
I'm talking about like the theme songs for this or Pop Up or that was great. I mean, he's done all of them. And I feel his soul coming through each one of them.
I go to the airport with the pop-up theme and I just play that and then I wait for some people to come to me. The cool ones know.
Usually it's, sir, can you turn that off? Sir, would you please leave the airport? Are you waiting
I wait for
someone,
security
sir?
to come to me.
Every once in a while somebody shows up, gives me a high five, and like he pulls out his own like theme song or musical instrument and starts jamming along to it.
Yeah.
It's usually me or Derek, the only two people who would high five you if you're playing the pop-up Filmcast theme song.
Oh, I wouldn't high five you.
Well,
So-
it's not for everybody.
Yeah. So we got these two cool kids. They are DTF, I assume, because they're and
Okay.
they're here. I don't know why I said that. That's just, I wanted to say they were cool, but they're also
Take a sip of water. God.
they're here in America to get it on. It's 73, man. It's we're only 4 years removed from the summer of love.
They're like second or third cousins, probably, right?
Oh, I didn't mean with Eddie, but hey, who knows?
Oh, okay. Okay, that's
Either way works.
true.
It's a
Wow.
cartoon, we won't see that, but
Yeah,
it's
it's-
assumed.
That's the age of love, Yeah.
So we're back at the Munster abode, and the Mini-Munsters, man, they're playing music. They're going to town, and Herman had promised Eddie a car for his 16th birthday because he wants him to go somewhere else, right? Can you guys go play somewhere else? And they're like, well, we need a lift to the school. And then Herman's like, well, tomorrow's your 16th birthday. I promised you a car. They go to the used car dealership.
I thought it was going to be like a grand reveal of like a car that Grandpa had been working on because he's like, Grandpa, come out.
Yeah.
But no,
Oh,
they
yeah,
end up
we gotta
they end up
go.
just they just
Grandpa's
go
like,
to the
I'm
store.
working on stuff.
Yep.
Whatever.
He's always busy.
Yeah, but we'll find out he was working on a secret invention.
Yeah.
Because he knew what was going on, right? So they go to the car dealership, and this is when all sorts of crazy shit happens. Well, before the Munsters get there, the mob is at the car dealership. And they're pushing their smog-producing gasoline. You gotta use a gasoline.
You can put us on the list.
Yeah,
I already did.
yeah.
We'll try it out. No try.
So apparently in the 70s, you got your gas from car dealerships. There were no gas stations, not in Los Angeles at least. Safe to assume. Or you bought a car and it had all the gasoline you needed for it ever.
I thought I was taking it as like when somebody bought a car. I mean, they got a full tank right away.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that tank will run out.
Well, I assume that also. Well, they already own the gas. People already, they own this gas company. So I'm assuming they're already at all the gas stations. So then they're going around telling like, "Hey, you guys with the new cars, just get it to them right away."
Yeah, I guess.
Like
It's
fresh
a
off the
flimsy.
lots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a flimsy scheme at best. I mean, they kidnapped the guy that runs the oil refinery.
Yep.
And no one's questioned it whatsoever. they've replaced the gasoline that they produce with their new formula gasoline that produces a bunch of smog.
And I'm
They
not
stopped to talk to a guy who created a pill that would change water to gas, and they never realized that.
Yeah, but they don't know that yet.
Yeah,
So.
that would ruin them. Yeah,
that would ruin
their scheme's very interesting. It's like, wouldn't it just be more productive just to take over the gas station and not like create a new gas that hurts everyone? Yes. I don't know, but
I'm gonna tell you what: if you're this evil, just blow up the earth. Just you got this much power to do this without getting caught. Just blow up the earth. Just call it a day. Get it over with.
Might as well, yeah.
Then the Munsters get to the car dealership, and this is when all hell breaks loose. Because Herman, I just wrote down, Herman is fucking up shit at the car dealership.
Oh my god, he's tearing cars apart piece by piece.
Sees a real cool car, touches the bumper, boom.
Bumper falls off.
Yeah. I mean, at least in the show, he had to like actually like do stuff, like lift things and like bend things. I mean, he's just tapping things and they're falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's just his reality warping power at its highest.
It's even more powerful in animated form.
Yeah, animated form, Herman.
Yeah.
So we'll get to it later.
Yeah, we'll have to make a Herman tier list, like power level wise. Like animated Herman's at the top, and then live action Herman, he's middle. We'll see where Rob Zombie's Herman lands, but I'm thinking animated Herman's most powerful.
Yeah, he probably flies and transforms into a robot and stuff.
No, that's Michael Bay's Munsters.
Michael Bay's Munsters. Yeah. So Herman rips off a bumper. They're like, this engine's been rebuilt. He's like, I gotta check it out. So he rips off the body of the car. Like, okay, this one's been rebuilt from the ground up. And so Herman taps it and it crumbles to dust. You're just like, wow. Yeah. And the salesman is saying one thing, but his animated actions would lead you to believe another. Right? He's like, oh, why, something like, oh, very discerning eye. He just compliments Herman, but he's on the ground crying and pounding on the dirt. Right?
Yeah, the voice acting is not like matching with.
Well, he was very scared and did not want to go out there in the first place.
Yeah, but they were looking at the most expensive car in the lot.
Yeah, and which the Italia, some weird name, like it's like pasta fagioli or something like that.
Yeah, pasta fagioli or something. Yeah,
yeah, some really weird name.
What's a pasta dish?
Yeah,
it's an Italian car, named after a pasta dish. Anyway, Herman's messing everything up, and the guy's like, "Just please leave." And then Eddie decides he wants this really cool hearse.
Oh yeah,
and it's an old broken down hearse. And they're like, "You sure?" And it's like, "Yeah." Talk about how spacious it is. Herman lays down in it, I think.
He does. Mm-hmm. He says that it brings back memories as he lays back there. I thought that was pretty funny.
So Grandpa pulls the knot out of his pocket, and it's $20K.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, this should cover everything. And the guy's like, waka, waka, waka. He grabs it and runs off.
He grabs it, doesn't look at it. He just
doesn't look
at it. This is good. Doesn't count it.
This is for the car, the damage, my good man. And then
sounds like one of Grandpa's inventions hit at some point over the last 10 years, and now they got millions. And
peels it off, gives him an extra $5 for himself, and that's for the trouble. Gives him a pat on the chest. And the dealer goes back in. He's like, I got 20,000, and it's like, oh, in Transylvanian money or something.
Something
like. They're still in the lot. You could turn around and stop them. Yeah, I don't think anything was signed.
I think they chat for like 3 more minutes out there. After see that. Yeah.
I'm like, what are you gonna do? We just got all our best cars were destroyed, and we got duped by a man that looks like a penguin.
Yeah.
Eddie's driving home. The Munsters must have driven home in their coach, but Eddie and the Mini-Munsters are driving home. They're like, oh, this hearse is great. And for some reason, when they're driving, Herman's feet are still in there.
Yes.
Did you notice that?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, Herman's like, when he's saying goodbye, like to Eddie, like peeking his head through the back, and it cuts back to Eddie. Herman's feet are still like laying
Herman's feet are still in the hearse. So I'm like, oh, Herman's in the hearse. Nope. There's another voice, though, because that hearse is haunted. And it's, what was the guy's name?
Jeremiah Grundy.
Jeremiah Grundy, the
The
old
Undertaker.
Undertaker, yeah.
Yeah.
And did he say why he died? I assume old age.
Yeah, he was pretty old, I guess. I have no idea. Died of fright.
Yeah, whoa. All these corpses. But he knows a lot because he eavesdrops.
Yeah, he's like, I know who you are. I'm also an eavesdropper.
Yep. I'm invisible and I listen to shit.
I've been here the whole time.
Yeah. I spend most of my time in ladies' dressing rooms. That's the kind of vibe he gave off, right?
Yes.
I can become invisible, but I use it for evil.
I didn't reveal myself right away.
Yeah. I thought you guys might be DTF, and I was going to find out. So the car breaks down because they ran out of gas roughly a mile outside of the car dealership.
Yeah.
And the ghost is like, well, you did better than I usually did. And they're like, well, okay.
Yeah, so I'm not sure about that. So it's just a weird joke, but all right, sure.
Yeah. So there's an exchange here, and they're deciding they're going to go walk to find gas. But for some reason, they decide to play music in the back. And then they find that the car runs on rock and roll.
Yeah, it does. It's a miracle.
It was
like hops its way to the gas station.
Yep. Yeah. It just kind of shimmy. It does a conga line dance. One car conga line.
Yep.
All the way down.
How lucky that they brought their drums and their guitars.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think they were supposed to be on their way to the school
To practice.
to go practice and use the school's music
All right.
room.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's where they're on their way. And the Igor, he's like, well, they kicked us out of the house to go practice anyway. So instead of just walking to the gas station, well, we do what we wanted to do, like jam out for a bit.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So now we've got 100% of what this show was supposed to be. 3 cool kids that are DTF. They play in a rock and roll band. They have a haunted hearse and probably Spot.
With the driver who is DTF.
Yes, DTW who wants to watch.
Yeah, he's got his own thing going on.
Yes. So lots of stuff going on here, but we know what the premise of these are the Mini-Munsters.
Yeah.
There's a little mini Frankenstein. There's a little mini girl. Like there's nothing, nothing spooky about her at all. And then there's Eddie, and then a ghost, and then their instruments and a hearse.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's where the show could have ended.
A lot of potential for this. Yeah, this is right here. Could do
Like,
so
all
much.
Right. And this is the intro episode. But then we cut back to the house, and Lily's on the phone. The kids never arrived at the school. Okay, did she call? Did the school call her? Whatever. And Herman and Lily are freaking out. So they scream down to Grandpa. They never made it, but Grandpa's not upset because they're probably driving slow. And his grandpa put an invention in there that won't let the car go too fast. So that's what Grandpa was working on. He's working on an invention to keep the car from going too fast, to keep the kids safe.
Mm-hmm.
Good old Grandpa.
Safety first with Grandpa. That's what he loves safety. We all know that.
Did the kids arrive home now? Because Herman doesn't something about Herman not believing in the miracles.
Yeah, and then Grandpa, they call him an angel because he made that device, and he's
Grandpa's
like, how dare you?
Me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he hates music, he says, because I think this is when they discover that it was made by it runs off of music.
Yeah. The kids come home. They're like, you won't believe what happened. The car ran out of gas, but it runs on music. And Herman's like, I don't believe in miracles. But it's haunted, and Mr. Grundy is the ghost. And it's like, well, that I believe.
Yeah.
Like, and then they're like, could it be Grandpa's invention? And hell no, Grandpa hates music.
That's right.
Hates it.
How could this thing have gone so wrong?
Yeah.
And then Herman's like, oh well, that's what Dr. Frankenstein said to me. So
yes,
which
the Dr. Frankenstein reference. So Grandpa didn't make him in the cartoon. Cartoon canon's different.
Mm-hmm. It's a different universe.
Or like the show, every episode's its own universe.
They just make it up as they go. That's more likely, I think.
Yeah. So the kids, they show Herman how the car works on music. He's like, whoa, Grandpa can't figure it out. Whoa. The kids at school, they don't believe Eddie. The mobsters pull up, and the kid that's, clearly the school bully is the mobster's son. Convenient.
Yeah, that is very convenient. Yeah, who would have thought that the meanest kid in school would be the son of the meanest gangster on the planet?
Yes. Who knew? And he pulls up in a car that's got like 900 tailpipes on it.
Yep.
Looks real fast.
It does.
Yeah. And so the monster pulls up in a sports car, and Eddie challenges them to a race. Now, this is my favorite part of the episode. Not just any race, but a race at the Grand Prix course in the park.
Yes. Yeah, I was like, okay, cool. We're going to have like a street race or something. And it's like, cut. Oh, well, this is like a whole production. They're like having a race down at the park. What is this?
But it's not just at the park. They say at the Grand Prix course at the park.
Most just have that up and ready, Yeah.
Most parks I've been to don't have Grand Prix courses.
Same. I hope to find one someday, but so far, no.
Well, wherever the Munsters were racing in 1973, they had one there.
I'll have to track it down in California.
California's got you got skate ramps, and you have Grand Prix courses at every park.
Yeah. Before skating was big, at like Venice Beach, like the weightlifting and stuff, they had a Grand Prix. Every park had a Grand Prix course that took 20 minutes.
Before it was known as Muscle Beach, it was known as Racing Beach.
Oh. Yep. All the 16-year-olds would go there after school and just go on high-speed races through the Grand Prix. Good
Makes
times.
sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they're there, and Herman's like, well, it's a 20-minute course. And you're like, okay. And Herman is driving. And the other car produces so much smog, it's impossible to see, even for Herman. He's crying and coughing. And the kids are playing music, but they're not going very fast. They can't see. They're crying and coughing. In fact, they're going so slow, and the mobster's going so fast. The mobster and his kid take a break for a picnic.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, fair. Herman passes, and it says the tortoise and the hare or whatever.
Yep.
They're like, yep. But the speedster's like, well, I got to come back. They come back, so much smog, no one can see again. Herman's like, I told you I hated that story.
I never believed it
I never did believe in that.
It's so smoggy that even the mobsters can't see. And they drive into a river.
Yep.
Or a pond. Or a lake. One of the three things. Because they're like, here comes some cars, and it's ducks.
Yep.
You're like, oh, okay. That's great.
Yeah, and I think the Munsters ride on top of like a semi carrying a bunch of other cars.
Yeah, they crash, and he's like, "Oh, now we're stuck in traffic."
Yeah. There's like the guy screaming at them. He's just going blar 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 blar.
Yeah, like old Tom and Jerry style.
Yeah.
There were some Tom and Jerry's where there's a little bald round man that would take Tom various places, like fishing and to a barbecue, and Jerry would always mess stuff up, and there was like weird animation. That's what that reminded me of. So the mobsters. Herman, they pass him again, but the mobster's like, oh, we're coming back. We're just in the river, but not anymore. But the kids discover if they play faster, then the car goes faster. And then guess what? The Munsters win. And the mobsters are pissed. But the Greek chorus was in the sky, and they saw the whole thing.
Yeah.
They're like, yes. Now the Munsters will be famous. Look at some notoriety. Because they're on the news.
Mm-hmm.
The races, at least. TV talks about an unusual race. Who was racing? No one knows. Who won? You couldn't tell.
And Herman's like trying to talk to television the whole time. He's like, it was me.
Yeah.
I drove. We won.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand how television works, I guess.
Clearly.
Well, I mean, when the television gives you the exact the very next, it's only asking questions. So I mean, if it just continues to say stuff, and there's a perfect question right after it. There's no other commentary. It's just question, answer, question, answer.
And it pauses long enough for someone, if they did want to answer.
And I think it's one point in time when they show it, like the news anchor is actually just looking up at Herman.
Yeah. It's like Dora the Explorer.
Yeah,
Who was driving? It was me. Bueno, it was you.
It was. Very good.
So Herman is excited, so he goes to tell Grandpa that they're almost famous. But Grandpa is downstairs directing the Mini-Munsters.
Yes, he's conducting.
Got like the little baton out. He's got some headphones on.
He's all in on this rock song now. He loves it.
He's recording him so they can put him. So they can put that in the receivers in the car all across the world, and they're going to change the automotive industry again.
So the car only runs on the Mini-Munsters music?
Yes.
Nobody else is like, so if Jimi Hendrix was walking by and got into a car and started playing it, like it wouldn't do anything.
Nope. It's got to be Mini-Munsters. They're just that cool, Keith. Like that song they're playing, it vibes on such a transcendental level that it just hits inside the engines. It resonates perfectly and it powers it.
And it's clearly the only thing that the invention knows how to turn into fuel. I don't know. I don't know how it works. You'd think that any music would work. I agree with you, Keith. That was one of my complaints. But no, just the Mini-Munsters music. And then it could turn the Munsters into millionaires. And Herman doesn't understand what that means. Is this good? Like, what the hell?
Duh. We've been trying. We spent 70 some odd episodes where 90% of them were me trying to get $1 million. Do you not remember any of that?
Even $5,000 would be nice in the show sometimes. Yeah.
I don't get how he doesn't understand the concept of getting money. He just doesn't get it. And then Grandpa's like, you know how some people get rich and they turn into monsters? Literally. So then now Herman's all on board. Oh, they turn into monsters. Well, I like monsters.
Yeah, because he even kind of like eyes over towards the kids. We're doing the most normal thing possible.
Now we cut to the smog has cleared up and the city is great again. The Munsters are going to be on the news. So then we have the Greek chorus again, talk about how it's the clearest it's been in 100 years or something like that.
Yeah.
You're like, okay. Well, great. So clearly what's happened between Grandpa saying we could be millionaires and this current scene is every car has this receiver in it now that plays the specially transmitted recording of the Mini-Munsters from not a radio tower, but a box that Grandpa has.
A little portable box,
Yeah. I don't know how it works. Well, even if it did transmit from a radio tower, I wouldn't know how it works. But conceptually, I don't understand.
Right.
It's okay. I'm willing to put it aside. Because the Munsters are going to be on the news, and Herman is dressed up like a French director, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
I love this
fancy
outfit. Yeah.
He's got a beret and a scarf and a tweed coat.
Maybe the fame's got to his head a little bit.
A little bit already.
It's the new Munsters look. I love it.
Were they at home? I couldn't tell what was going on. But
I thought they were, and I was like, wow, they brought in like all these big time studio cameras.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, because then they wanted to bring Spot into the picture.
Yeah, that's what I couldn't do. Eddie wants to get Spot on TV.
He's too shy.
But I think that's just to remind you that Spot exists, because he hasn't done anything in a while.
Yeah, all he does so far is beat Herman at checkers a few times. Yeah.
Yes. Now, Grandpa predicts that every car in the world will use his invention. Well, hell yeah. Why wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean...
a cost-free vehicle, powering solution. I don't understand what the problem would be.
Yeah, he might have just saved, like, the environment with that. Like, we could just use that
all
to, like,
society.
To fuel, like, everything else, too. Wow.
Yeah. Think of how many problems have been solved, or how many problems have been fought over oil, over the collection of oil, the drilling for oil, the sale of oil, and then plus all of the byproducts of refining oil and all that stuff and burning oil. Solved. 1973, the Munsters, Grandpa made a box that transmits a specific recording of the Mini-Munsters to receivers in cars that converts the music into fuel somehow.
Yep. Now here's a question about how this works. Do you think, like, because you can, like, speed up and slow down in the car, so do you think when you, like, speed up the like the music like starts to go really fast, like it's like it just like fast forwards or whatever, and it like slows down real boo boo doo boo doo real slow when you slow.
Right? Because we've determined that the faster you play, the faster you go. So that would mean the slower you play, the slower you go.
Right? Yeah.
But the transmitter plays the song at one speed. So is everyone going at the same speed constantly?
I was kind of thinking. I thought maybe like he recorded like multiple tracks, so like you could
You
pick and choose. If you need to speed along, you fast forward a different song.
Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know how it works. Because if they're all going the same speed, that means like residential and highway are all doing 50, or 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, you got to find that happy medium.
How do you 50. Stop? Right? I don't know.
Yeah, the brakes ain't gonna work.
It's all mystery to me. I mean, I guess when you're dealing with magical science, it's all a bit of a mystery.
Yeah, magic is just science we don't understand yet, and that is what this is too. We'll get there. And my goal is the year 2030. We'll have figured out how to do this.
God, I only hope. I hope this episode of the podcast rekindles the search for turning music into fuel.
Yeah, I don't think that avenue's been explored quite enough yet. So
no,
we'll get there.
It's like the Spanish conquistadors looking for the fountain of youth.
Yep, that's second on the list. 2040, we'll find that. But
yeah,
modern science convert Mini-Munsters. Maybe this particular episode into fuel. So they're on TV. Grandpa's like, the whole world's going to use this invention, and the mobsters see that, and they are not happy, right? Because why would they be? They just kidnapped the guy that runs the oil refinery, which no one has followed up on.
Yeah, it's been weeks, I would assume. Yeah,
he must have been a lonely old man, so like nobody missed him.
Nobody cares. Yeah,
he was married to his job. The mob, they got him. But their plan now is to steal the invention before it destroys us. They're like, okay, seems to make sense. And then they figure the music is being transmitted over some electrical device. That's what they say. I figure it's being transmitted over some electrical device. As opposed to a block of wood. I don't know what else would be transmitting it.
Yeah.
Back at the Munster abode, Herm and Lily are going to a movie. The kids are like, well, we'll stay home. Oh, Grandpa's going too, because he doesn't like to be left out. Kids are like, well, we'll stay home. We've already seen The Bride of the Wolfman or whatever. We were at the wedding.
Yeah. Lester got married.
Yeah.
Herman likes it. Is either Herman or Lily say that they like it when it's based on true stories?
They like movies based on true stories. Yeah. Yep. So they're excited. So they're going to go. And then the mob guys show up. They're like, well, we're going to go steal that thing. We know where they're at. We met these people coincidentally in the first 2 minutes of this episode looking for how to get to the oil refinery to return the man we kidnapped. I don't know. So the mob guys show up, two of them. They break in, and they see Spot, but they don't run from that giant dinosaur monster. They're like, nope, we got to go find this electrical device.
They only see his tail, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So they're like, man, good thing we didn't, wake up the whatever's attached to that tail. I think.
Something like that. Yeah, we saw Spot's claw playing checkers earlier, but not Spot himself. So they see Spot. They don't care about that. Then they see a bunch of weird shit, like paintings and stuff. One was Cousin Lester.
Yeah.
There's at least a Wolfman, who I assume was Cousin Lester.
It's got to be, yeah. I was excited when I saw that. Might be a highlight of the.
That was the highlight of the show.
Lester showed up for a split second, his cameo.
Yeah. So they're running around like, oh, what do we do? They decide to go to the basement. Logical. Now the kids are down there and they're like, oh, we're bored. What do we do? I know. We got these Transylvanian masks or something. I don't know what
like costumes. Yeah, Grandpa's been making them or something.
Yeah. It's so inconsequential. Well, I guess it's not inconsequential because what happens next is they're dancing with these masks on. The two mobsters see them and then they run because there's three monsters dancing
with weird masks. That was strange,
and they can't figure out why. I don't know.
Yeah, why would they run? And now, they're not very concerned that two strange men were just rummaging around the house.
Two strange men in their house. They didn't call the police. They weren't very concerned about it. And they assume it's because of a spot, right? So then we see the mob boss. He doesn't believe. They even say, we didn't drink a drop or something like that. They're like, got to make sure that the kids understand that they weren't drunk.
Yeah, we got to make that clear.
My boss doesn't believe him. He tells him to go steal Spot because it's like, when you're trying to steal something big, you got to steal something bigger or some dumb shit like that. So we'll steal the big giant monster and hold it for ransom. Makes sense instead of just getting the device.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Why would we try that again when obviously stealing the giant dragon would be much easier?
Herman on the phone. He passes on a luncheon because he's giving Spot a bath.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Oh no, I'm sorry, I gotta pass. I'm giving Spot a bath. His weekly bath.
It's gonna take all day.
I'm booked for the day. Right? He's awfully large. But it's a trick. It's the mob boss calling. But there'll be all sorts of environmentalists there. And then Herman says, well, I don't want to offend any religious types or something like that.
Yeah, organized religion.
Yeah, womp is right.
I don't know. Yeah, I was like, huh? That was a weird... I didn't quite get that.
Herman feels even dumber than the television show in this episode. But not in a fun way. And just like, oh, he's got brain damage.
Did you just mishear what is the word?
Environmentalists.
Environmentalists, but he thought it was
evangelicals? Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows? So he rounds up the family and says they're holding a dinner for us to celebrate our greatness or whatever.
Yep.
I'm like, all right. The Munsters go to the luncheon. Even Eddie's like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
It's like, you're dumb, Dad. Why are we doing this?
Yep. But they leave, and the mobsters, it's their chance.
Yep. Because they pull up in a piano movie truck.
I think they're pulling up right when they leave, too, because, Herman's like, oh, maybe we should help them, but then decides not to because the celebrity would not go and help somebody move their stuff, so...
They're going to be late for their luncheon.
Hello again. I'm Keith Gawla, host of That Was Great, Wasn't It? The show returns this July to celebrate summer in America the best way we know how, with monster trucks. Join me and Chris Green as we work our way through the 1985 Bigfoot and the Muscle Machines. We'll recount the tale of Yank Justice and friends as they drive monster trucks across country trying to stop an elderly billionaire from finding the fountain of youth. It's action, excitement, and more. And most importantly, when the month is over, we'll have answered that age-old question, that was great, wasn't it? Series starts July 4th. Find it where you find your podcasts. Sponsored by Fish and Chips, the #1 brand of fish-flavored potato chips.
So the Munsters get to the country club.
You okay there, D?
No, this one's rough.
This one keeps going, yeah.
They get there, and the country club's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Halloween was last week, and we're still 6 months from Mardi Gras or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And they're like, no, we're supposed to be here to celebrate us. We're the Munsters. And then it dawns on the Munsters, we've been had. So then they race back home. Well, they don't get there yet because the mobsters are luring Spot out with a dinosaur bone. I knew these dinosaur bones would come in handy.
So they went and stole a dinosaur bone so they could go and lure the dragon so they could steal the dragon so that they could eventually be able to steal the mechanical device.
Yeah. So once again, these mobsters have the power to overtake the oil industry, right? In the 70s. Just take it over. Boom. They have dinosaur bones at their disposal. Just blow up the damn earth. Like, I don't understand. What are we waiting for?
Yeah, why are we trying to choke it out slowly and suffocate it with smog when we could just destroy it? Yeah,
there was no end game to the smog thing other than just being miserable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even they were crying when they drove around in it. Yeah, I don't understand. But
so they get Spot in the back of the piano truck and they drive off. The Munsters get home. And they're like, nothing's wrong? Like I don't know what they were looking for. And they're like, well, Spot must have scared him off. Oh, and then I think Lily goes, maybe it was those two men you saw in the house. Could have been.
Yeah. I mean, they do a thorough, you take the top floor, you take the bottom floor type look around thing.
They do a whole, canvas of the house.
Luckily, the invention's still there. Nobody took that, I guess.
And then they realize Spot is gone, and then Herman blames himself for leaving him alone without a babysitter.
Yeah, it's his fault. It is. Yeah,
It's my fault. So they assume that the mobsters came and didn't steal anything, but Spot ran away, is my guess. I don't know. So the kids, they go out looking for Spot, and they follow the conveniently placed trail of giant, oversized Spot props.
Yes.
That. I watched this with my kid, and she goes,
giant
"Why-"
water. This is a giant water tank.
Water dish,
It's like
giant collar.
But they're calling like the other person's like as they're driving. It's like, is that like a giant water tower? And is that a crater?
Yeah.
No, it's a giant dish. You can tell that. Don't be an idiot.
It's a giant water dish that, for some reason, they didn't just steal Spot. They stole all of Spot's accoutrement as well.
And left a trail.
Yeah, and left a trail. And my kid's question was like, why is this stuff in the street? And then that was my question too.
That's a good question.
Why do they want them to follow them? I don't understand.
Right. Yeah.
So the kids are following the trail, and then they get the last one, like, this is the last piece. And it's like a giant dog tag for Spot.
Yep.
And the kids find it, and it's at the docks, but it's a trap.
And they send the ghost home for some reason. The ghost has been driving him around.
Yeah, they tell the ghost, go tell my parents we found Spot.
Yeah.
He's like, okay,
I would rather stay here and watch if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you guys are alone.
DTF.
It's a creepy warehouse.
Aren't you feeling a bit frisky? Nope.
I'll go ahead and leave. Wink.
Yep. So
also, by the way, as they now, this is one thing I thought was interesting. As they are looking, and they're like, "Oh, here's the different, the collar and the thing." The ghost gets scared. I do miss the part where the ghost he kind of disappears. It's like, I'm not dealing with this.
Yeah,
he's like freaked out about Spot.
Ghost is freaked out by giant dog accessories.
Well, I think more of he's like, well, whatever those accessories are for, I don't want to be here for it.
Well, I'm assuming if I'm the ghost of the Undertaker, I assume it's just a giant dog. Right? He has no reason to believe that it's a dinosaur.
Yeah, he has no idea what it could be. Yeah, it could just be a novelty prop.
Okay, even a giant dog. Like he's like, I'm not down for this.
He is scared. He is kind of cowardly. Yeah,
and he's a ghost. It's not like the dog can mess him up or anything.
Herman says something earlier about how he's like pale as a ghost, and then he like laughs at his own joke. I think he's like, he's kind of a scared little guy, you know. He can't turn invisible. He likes to hide. Yeah.
Yep.
He doesn't want to confront anything.
Eavesdrop.
Yeah. He likes to be invisible and eavesdrop. That's his thing. So now we see the mobsters. They're calling Grandpa with the ultimatum. It's like, give me that device or I kill the kids, maybe? I can't remember. I don't think it was as grim as that, but that's the gist.
Might as well be.
Yeah. And Grandpa is all flustered. I only made one of these machines, which is very short-sighted.
Oh, it is, yeah. Yeah.
Considering the intent is to fuel the world with music.
Yes. If you only have one of those, that seems a little risky, but...
Yes! Well. If that breaks... then nothing works. That's my first thought. I'm like, boy, you only have one? Man, if
this is the same guy who clearly burnt up a formula before.
That's true. And we see a lot of explosions in that basement. What could go wrong with that device? Yeah.
I would think you would make a backup just in case, right? You'd have some sort of mitigation plan.
That would have been funny. He's like, I have another one. That's fine. And then
nope.
You can keep it.
Like, cool. I'll give you this one, but it's really a bomb. Like he has no way to. He's not going to trick the mobsters. Nope. He's just like, well, I got to hand over the device that's going to save the world. Like you'd think he could call the army or the president or something, Mr. President.
Whoever he bought all the war surplus, the post-war surplus stuff from, might be able to come help him out.
Yeah. Not just that. The man that has eliminated Los Angeles smog with his music. I get it. The internet doesn't exist in '73, but news does.
Yeah, this is
It
a
would
call
have
for
traveled,
arms.
maybe
Even
a little
as-
bit slower, but it would have
Yeah.
got to the East Coast.
Even report to the police. They do some investigating, realize that the reason the mobsters want this thing is because they run the oil company now. Like,
Yeah.
even just a simple phone call to the cops might solve this
Yes.
whole problem.
So there's mobsters that are illegally running the oil refinery company because they kidnapped the owner, and they're trying to hold my children and my giant pet for ransom. All of that is super illegal. There's so much illegality going on there.
Unless there's something he's trying to hide. Maybe that invention's
Yeah.
made of something a little unseemly.
Grandpa doesn't want anything.
Oh yeah, Grandpa's got things down there that he doesn't want people to like be poking around at.
got skeletons in his closet. Literal skeletons. I think he said that joke at one time too.
Oh yeah.
If not, I guarantee it.
It'll
comes
come.
sometime
Coming.
soon.
It's coming.
It has to. Coming up soon. So the kids find the spot at the dock, but it's a trap. Mobsters call Grandpa with an ultimatum. The ghost driver, trying to get back, lost.
Oh,
He pulls up
jeez.
to a cop and he says, "Excuse me, sir. Do you know how to get to somewhere?" I don't know what he says.
Yeah.
The cop freaks out because the ghost is invisible. And then he says, "I knew I should have manifested first."
Yeah. Really? You think?
Well, you know what? Even if he would have manifested, he's a ghost.
Yeah, that's true. He looks all creepy, I assume. Yeah.
He would have scared the police officer.
And this is like the most
And-
worthless scene in the whole.
And because he doesn't get
Oh,
that, he is later on. He's like in the desert somewhere.
Yes, he is. But first, I need to share. So the kids are trapped in a warehouse with iron doors, and there was Spot.
Mhm.
They need to find a way out.
This place is locked up tighter than a drum.
There's no way out.
Sure there is. Anyone know any funny stories?
Sure use a good laugh.
So could Spot. He loves good jokes. And when he starts wagging his tail, anything could happen.
Well, we smuggled a few good jokes out of Transylvania. How about this one, Spot? This guy says, "Hey, waiter, will you see if the chef has pig's feet?" The waiter says, "I can't. He's got his shoes on."
Spot does not wag his tail.
Try another
Hates
one.
it.
Oh, I know a cute poem. It's of Algae. Algae saw the bear. The bear saw Algae. The bear was bulgy. The bulge was Algae.
I think that got him laughing.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there because what the fuck was just said?
Yes.
What was just said?
Oh god.
There was algae. The bear was algae. He was bulgy. The bulge was algae.
Yeah. This is like that Frankenstein or not Frankenstein joke. It's like that Abraham Lincoln joke when Herman's on the stage. I did try to write it down at first. I was like, I don't get it. I don't understand what this means.
When I watched it last night, I'm like, that's going to be a clip because I have no idea what they're saying.
But Eddie says, "Tell him a joke or a funny story." So she just tells him a random poem.
Yeah, I know a poem. What?
We didn't
like
ask
she
you for
made
a
it up.
poem, Lucretia. We want a joke.
I think she made it up on the spot. Like I think
If it was a poem that was funny, like a limerick, there once was a man from Nantucket or whatever,
yeah.
right? Didn't happen. Algae, bear, bulgy, algae, bear, algae. Like, what the hell just happened?
And
None of
Spot
that
loves it. He loves it. He's
He
wagging
goes
his tail.
nuts for it.
So Spot wags his tail uncontrollably, and then what happens? Like they
He,
escape somehow. So
They
here's what I
break
wrote.
the warehouse apart, I think.
Yeah. Kids laugh at some dumb fucking joke and breaks a hole in the wall.
Yep.
Kids escape and figure out how to get Spot out by using a tugboat.
course.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're like
So
pulling
then-
him around in like a. Is it part of the warehouse that they were dragging him along in?
They're dragging the warehouse via tugboat down the river.
Yep. Okay.
You would think that once you got the warehouse off its foundation and in the water, Spot could just go under the water and swim. But
Oh yeah.
I don't know. What do I know? I don't know
Yeah.
nothing. Now we see what I have written here. Ghost homeboy is lost in the desert.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't realize we had
And
got
he
to that yet.
is. Yeah, no. Well, I mean, it's a perfect setup. And it happened, right? So he didn't get directions with the cops. So now he's lost in the desert, which
Second
makes
most worthless scene in the whole
sense.
movie.
Yes.
Yep. It's like,
Well, it
great.
explains why they don't have the car, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, they had to like get rid of him, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Because the kids are using the tugboat.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that must be why. You're probably right, and the writers probably did justify that in there.
Yeah, they're like, wait a minute, why don't they just use the car? I'm like, well,
The
And
spot
then-
won't fit.
yeah. And for a while, I'm like, why is the car working? But I remembered it's got the transmitter with the recording in it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to play music. Now, Grandpa delivers the machine to the mob in an alley, I guess. And the mob details their evil plan. We're going to destroy the machine. That was it.
Yes. We're just gonna smash it over our knee right here. Yeah.
Yeah. And Grandpa's like, no, don't do that.
Yeah. I guess he can't make another one. Yeah.
Yep. Our flying Greek chorus has found the kids. There's a tugboat going down the river pulling a giant building with a tail hanging out of it. And they're like, yep. The Munsters find out. Lily goes, that must be the kids. Who the hell else is it going to be? Who else is
Right.
it going to be? So they're like, well, let's go get them. And then we cut back to the mobsters, and they just take a bat to the machine. They're not like, we're going to recreate this technology. We're going to sell this technology.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's
no.
nothing.
They pull was like an Office Space when they just smash in that
Yeah.
fax machine. They just go nuts on it.
Die, motherfucker. Die, motherfucker. Still, fool. They're smashing it, right? But it proves that the mobsters, they're much like the Joker. They just want to watch the world burn. They don't care about the money because they could have sold the device for a lot of money. They could sell Spot for a lot of money,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
All these things very lucrative financially. They just wanted to kidnap an oil refinery owner and then destroy the world from smog inducing gasoline.
Not even the world, just L.A.
LA, just blow the fucker up. You got the power, just do it. So the mobsters, Office Space, the machine, great. Now all cars stop running, even
Just
the
cars.
tugboat.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Oh, but not wait, not the Greek chorus.
Oh,
They're still above the sky. We got some old-fashioned gasoline.
Thank
Yep.
God, I guess. But also thinking like, wow, you're one of the few holdouts that wasn't using the clean energy.
Yep.
I'm gonna remember this, helicopter pilot.
Yeah. But they're up there decrying the smog while they contribute to it.
Mhm.
So the tugboat is drifting out of control towards a waterfall. So many waterfalls in Los Angeles.
Several I can count. Yeah.
Yes. So what does Grandpa do? He whips up another machine. But this one, it'll work until Herman says, I'd do anything to save the kids. And Grandpa, quick thinking, goes, anything? Throws
Anything.
a thing to Herman that electrocutes him, and then it transmits the music. I don't
Yep.
quite get what happened there, but it's
They
not
need
like
a
the
jump
rest of
start.
I guess so. Herman
Man,
electrically charged.
That animation of Herman being zapped looked crazy too. Like
Yes.
that, I liked that. That looked
Mhm.
really
Yeah.
cool.
Wasn't enough to keep my interest, but yes.
No, yeah. It kind of my eyes kind of like eyebrows went up for a second. Like, oh, neat. Maybe
like,
it's just
oh,
my
I
satisfaction.
stopped
seeing
playing
Herman.
Yahtzee on my phone for a second to see what was going on. I'm like, oh, okay. Back to trying to get my fives. Herman touches it, it electrocutes him, and it starts working again. My kid's like, what's going on? I'm like, I have no idea. The cars and more importantly, the tugboat work again. But it's too late. They're caught in the current and they're going over this Niagara Falls style waterfall. But then they're like, wait a minute, I got an idea. Spot, here's a shitty joke. And it was like, Spot, did you hear the one about the man at the restaurant? Like,
And that's
that's
it.
all. That was it. And Spot's like, hell yeah, I have. And so he starts breathing fire and flapping his tail.
Oh, he loves it.
And that is enough to course correct the tugboat.
I mean, like with one of my dogs, when I go give him a snack, it like the closer you get with the snack, like his tail just like, and maybe that's what his Spot's just like, oh, here comes a joke, and just gets super excited right away.
Maybe.
And then they don't ever have to tell the rest of the story.
Yeah, if you told the whole thing, it would go nuts. It would be too much power. They'd probably go flying.
Yeah, destroys the earth. Yeah. The kids can rein it in. Or it's like with the dog, Keith. You like pretend like you're giving something. You do the throw motion, and the dog runs the other room.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
it's like that.
Yep, they only need that power for a little bit. Yeah, so leave them hanging.
Now we get the resolution. Right, kids are safe. They rescued Spot. Grandpa, he made a second machine, but only works when Herman touches it. Now we see the Munsters. They've been awarded for their saving the world. 100 years worth of free gas.
Yeah, hooray!
What?
A world that doesn't need gas anymore.
What just happened? So the whole episode is about how fossil fuels probably not a good idea.
Yep.
But then I wonder if like Chevron came in at the last minute or like, wait a minute. We got to change this. Give the Munsters 100 years of free gas. Tell them they can just burn as much as they want. Just use it. Burn barrels of it in your backyard. It's free.
Well, also, the last time that Grandpa had a gas-related thing, they were going to pay him to just get rid of it.
Yes.
Like, we don't even want you to use it anymore. Just
$50,000, but you couldn't take that money. Herman wasn't going to steal it.
Yeah, this is very strange. It's just like, because they don't really establish what happens to the device, because as far as I know, it should still work fine,
still
you know?
There.
Besides
the
electrocuting
Munsters
Herman, I guess.
Have 100 years worth of free gasoline for saving the day. Thank you, Munsters. But that's not enough for them.
Nope.
They got taste for blood. They want the revenge.
That's what Grandpa would say.
I got bloodlust, Grandpa. Don't spoil it for me. Like, you know, don't say the good parts first, you know.
Yep.
So Herman wants revenge, so he grabs that thing and electrocutes him and creates the music. And even though they have 100 years worth of free gas, they need the music to do what? Not sure. To run the hearse.
Didn't they put the Grandpa snuck 2 receivers into those gangsters' pockets?
Yep.
And so then that's why they're using the music to power the receivers, so that the gangsters will walk back to their.
Makes them.
That's how that worked.
Yep.
Holy shit! I didn't get a single moment of that.
They were walking along, and then suddenly they're in like a fake car, like they're just like invisible jet type thing. And they're just sitting there like they're supposed to go, but it's all because the music is making them go back to the Munsters.
So you don't even need a car. You could just have this little receiver. And
you could
around
fucking
town.
fly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You want to bring? I mean, do you have it still? YouTube still pulled up, and we can watch. You want to watch the clip again?
Yeah, let's do it. Let me get there. Hold on.
Oh, it's a hearse. Well, anyway, they're safe.
Thank you so much, Sergeant. The children are fine.
And so is Mr. Anderson. We're getting free gasoline for the next 100 years.
Yeah. But what are we going to do after that?
Still hope they catch Mr. Murdoch.
Well, I'd give anything to get that conniving crook.
So would I, Grandpa. Anything.
Would you, Herman? Anything? Even this?
Throws him the receiver.
Grandpa! Hang on, Herman boy, hang on. I put a couple of receivers in their pockets, and Murdoch and his bodyguard aren't going anywhere. Except where I tell them.
Oh, so there's new wrinkles to technology.
Yeah.
They're running for some reason.
I guess they're on the run now. Yeah, I don't know. It takes them a while for this thing to kick in. They're still running.
They're running faster than sound.
Boom.
Then they get into an invisible car, turn around, drive back to the Munster hearse.
Yep.
The kids are just waiting.
It won't be your last ride.
Eddie threatens them.
Sorry, Junior, but it'll take more than 3 kids to bring me in.
Will I?
He can resist.
Ooh.
Oh, God.
The ghost appears.
It seems to get them every time.
When most people lose their heads, it's bad. When you do, it helps everyone.
Credits! Oh my God! Oh, so Grandpa put transmitters in their pockets.
Mm-hmm.
They were running out of the city for some reason, just running at full speed.
Mm-hmm.
The music catches up to them. They get into I'm singing in a car position as if they were doing an improv show and they're pretending to be in a car.
Yeah.
And
They
both of them
turn
look like they're
around.
driving, so it's a very funny improv routine.
Yes, and they're flying back towards it's a hearse. Eddie says, "Won't be the last time you'll be in one." Like, I'll fucking kill you. You kidnap me, I will kill you once you're in this hearse. That was the threat I got from Eddie.
Don't worry, it
Eddie
won't be your last ride.
It won't be the last time. So he gets in but the mob boss is like, "You can't get me in there. Not 3 kids can't do it."
He's able to resist the technology for whatever reason. His will is strong enough to fight
Yes,
back.
his will breaks the pull of the technology, but the ghost appears, and then that's the straw that broke the mobster's back.
Yep.
He flies in, and then they said this part because I immediately checked out when all this started happening. I didn't even write down the joke. I just wrote credits. Somehow they catch mobsters with a ghost is what I wrote. Credits.
Yeah.
That's pretty spot on. Yeah.
They say when people lose their head, it's usually a bad thing. But when you do it, it helps people out? Is that what they said?
It says when most people lose their heads, it's bad. When you do it helps everyone.
But he didn't take his head off. He just appeared.
No, he didn't.
Well, no, because his head disappears and his hat and his tie still stay there for a second.
I get, yeah.
Even though that doesn't happen every time.
No.
Just that one time.
None of it. Somehow they catch mobsters with a ghost.
Yep.
Credits.
And somehow they managed to keep the Munster tradition of landing on a horrible joke and cutting to credits right afterwards.
Yep.
Now, do you think when this was done, everybody that was involved said, "Yes, we nailed this"?
No.
Grandpa did.
Well, for sure. Grandpa, I'm talking about the producers. Like, I hear a series order coming for us.
Oh, God. I feel like they just, cranked this thing out as fast as they could, and they made it up on the spot, perhaps, at some point. I don't know.
It almost feels like, hey, dude, we got $5,000. Can you make us an hour-long cartoon?
Mm-hmm.
Well, 4,500 will have to go to Grandpa. 450 to the animators, 45 for lunch, and then 5 to the scriptwriter.
I got the feeling that, especially at the time, and because and maybe because the Munsters hadn't been around for a while, and that's the biggest thing here. So they just waited too long to do this. But I got a feeling that they thought they were pretty much going to be set up good with having the show about the kid Munsters.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it should be an easy sell. You guys remember the Munsters? They were really big 10 years ago. Yeah. What if we had teenage Munsters?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they have a band. Yeah. And they solve crimes. Yeah. And that's it. That sells. That's the time.
Yeah.
Right? We're in the Scooby-Doo era of things.
That's true. Yeah. This is prime time. This could be a good show. There's a way to do the Munsters animated really well, but
yeah,
this feels like they just threw everything at the wall and it was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know how it could be so bad. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, what did you guys
we
think?
got this we got an empty slot on the Saturday movie marathon thing. We got to fill something in.
Mm-hmm. This should have been just 20 minutes long. It feels like it's so long. Oh
Because
god.
it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was painfully long.
Yep.
I mean, they could have been done just after beating them at the race.
Yeah.
Yes. And they could have been done as soon as they landed at the airport. Welcome, Mini-Munsters. Credits. And that's
Leave
it.
it on a
They have their fun.
cliffhanger. Yeah, leave them wanting more. Yeah. Let's see these cool hip kids, playing guitars and stuff.
Yep.
Who wouldn't want more of that?
Didn't need the haunted hearse. Didn't need anything of that stuff afterwards. Just cool kids playing music. And they're monsters. They're Mini-Munsters.
Yeah. How fun.
So, through the course of this 44-minute debacle, what would have broke the babysitter?
Oh, God.
I think when the ghost, Mr. Grundy, when he kind of quickly checks out because he's kind of scared of Spot, whether it's a giant dog or giant that, he's just like, I'm out.
Yep.
And the babysitter have been like, look, I was in that house all the time. Spot's such a kind little puppy. It's a, the little dinosaur, not gonna hurt anybody. Pfft. Like, because if I remember right, she sees the shadow and is still like, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, so she's gonna be like, what? This is it? You're a ghost and you're freaked out by this? Get out of here.
Yeah. And the matter of fact is, it's a giant dragon-like monster dinosaur thing. If it wanted to fuck shit up, it could fuck shit up. And it didn't. It could have ate those mobsters, no problem. Burst out of the back of that piano van, no problem. Yeah.
And it's smart. It beat Herman. Well, I mean, Herman might not be that good at checkers, let's be honest.
But enough to play checkers.
Yeah, Spot was able to beat Herman.
It beats him at something else, too, but I don't remember what they said it was.
Yeah.
He said the night before he beat him at something also.
Yeah, it was probably like something really intelligent, like chess or Scrabble. Or Yahtzee.
I think
who knows?
It could be Yahtzee.
Well, he's going for the fives.
Going for the fives.
I think what might have broke the babysitters, but the reveal that like some people are still using gas even though they don't need to anymore. Like it was as if just to kind of like just to be a menace to watch the world burn, as you said, Derek. I think that would break her, being like, why? This doesn't even make any sense anymore. We're just doing it to do it at this point. There's no reason at all. But I think she would have some sort of crisis about that.
Yeah.
Hunt down the people who were doing it, take them out.
I think it would be real early when that World War I era German bat flew the window. And they're like, you're related to this thing?
Yeah.
Like, it's not Nazi era Germany bat. No. But it's World War I era Germany bat, which still not good. Right?
Right.
So it flies in, and because the bat even said to warn them about the people at the door. Remember that? We didn't talk about this because we just kind of.
There's so much to talk about.
It was so painful. I think that's what breaks babysitter though. This bat comes in with a warning for the future, and looks like it's from Hogan's Heroes.
Yeah. And
good pull.
Yeah. So I think that's the problem.
That makes sense.
I think that's the thing that broke me early. Probably would have broke the babysitter as well.
It might have even just broke her. Like she opens her eyes one day and she looks around. Everything looks a little bit different. Like her suddenly it's all like 2D. Everybody's speaking slightly differently besides Grandpa. She realizes she's trapped in some alternate reality. I think that might also just break her. Like the minute she opens her eyes and realizes she's in
animated.
A cartoon.
Yeah. What is going on? She looks in the mirror. Yeah. What? She looks in the mirror, but it's like her real live self looking back.
Oh God.
At her.
Yeah.
But she's animated.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Yeah. Babysitter broken for sure. Plus it's 10 years later too.
Oh yeah, this could be okay. Here's a wild theory. I think this could be like a pocket dimension that Grandpa's created. It's one of his spells, because he's the only one who talks the same. 10 years later, the show's over. All the other monsters have gone away, but Grandpa's created his own little version of the his family, and he's
just running a simulation in the basement.
Exactly.
Yeah, that could be it. This was one of the most painful things I've endured visually, watching. If it wasn't for the fact we're let's do it, it'll be fun, I would have turned it off within minutes, maybe even a second. I've been well, I'm done.
I enjoyed this maybe more than I enjoyed the other Munster episodes.
What? Oh, Keith.
Oh God.
But I'm
That blows my mind because this made me appreciate the Munsters so much more.
I mean,
just
there's a lot of dumb stuff to it, but like I don't know. I liked seeing a little more of Spot out there. I guess I kept picking up like little things. I was like, oh, that reminds me of those first few episodes that we watched so far, the first 15 that we've watched. So maybe that's the way I was looking at it a little bit more.
I think it was very generous of you to call them callbacks too.
By the way, I guess we've continued to. I don't think we've mentioned this at all, or I don't think I dozed off. Marilyn, hello.
Oh yeah, there was no Marilyn in this pocket dimension.
Yeah.
Grandpa never liked her, anyways.
No.
He couldn't get the programming in the simulation proper. Couldn't get her hideous enough.
Yeah, she's too gross. He didn't like it. Yeah.
Well, and that's why the network never picked it up. They're like, well, where's Marilyn?
Yeah. We got some DTF teens.
Yeah.
You know Marilyn?
We need somebody we can get nice and close and talk to, creepily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ghost would love her, yeah.
It's too bad.
Oh, God, yeah. The ghost. Never mind. Yeah, I'm glad they didn't put Marilyn. That's just wrong.
Yeah, you're right. That
That
ghost
just went
would have
really
been
dark.
all Chip on her. That was the guy's name, right?
Yep. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you liked it, Keith, because this was rough. Ugh.
This was for me. Not even just Munsters, just in life. I'm going back decades here, trying to think of things I've watched that are worse than this, and I don't know if I can come up with one.
Wow.
I'm trying.
Don't say Pro Stars. Don't say Pro Stars. Don't say Pro Stars.
I don't think Pro Stars was worse than this.
I like Pro Stars a lot better.
Pro Stars made me laugh,
Yeah.
like at its absurdity. This was just difficult. It was like, you know what this reminded me of? So I have a 5-year-old child, and it is a challenge every day to get her to eat something that isn't a chicken nugget or a Jack's frozen pizza. Literal. That's a Jack's frozen pizza. Any other pizza, doesn't care for it. Just Jack's.
Oh.
And the other day we had some. What did we have? Some very delicious. It wasn't even a vegetable. What was it? It was just something. Let's just say something very delicious cooked up. Everybody else ate it, but she wouldn't. It's like just eat a bite. She eats a bite. And she's like, okay, that's okay. Then she eats another bite, and it's slower and slower. And then she gets to the third one, and she's doing this gaggish dry heave where I think she's going to vomit on the table. Watching that was akin to watching Mini-Munsters. Just 44 minutes of my child dry heaving on the table because we made her eat a piece of well-seasoned meat.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah. Like, I thought it was quaint at first. I was kind of like, oh, interesting. It's kind of a fun, like, new take on the Munsters. And then, I don't know. Like, even, like, the voice acting I didn't think was that great. I'm so happy that at least Al Lewis stayed because I think he's putting on the, like, performance of a lifetime here. I like him better in this than I do in the show.
He really needed the series pickup.
By the way, I think if, like, if Yvonne DiCarlo and Fred Gwynn are voicing it, I think it would have made the show a lot better, though.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it could have made it worse. Couldn't have made it worse in any way whatsoever. This was the challenge of a century.
Yep. But
I watched that like 7:30 in the morning, so I wasn't super picky.
Oh, man.
Don't
My
wait to
kid
start
even
the
had a
day.
hard time. She just like, this is dumb. I'm like, I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're in the room. All right.
At least we went to looked at the almanac. You can fill out some more notes on this this chapter of
No,
Munsters
we're
history.
burning these pages.
Oh.
No, we got to have our own separate appendix associated with this, like the addendum. There's a separate own separate book sitting on the shelf.
It's
Mini
the New
Munsters.
Testament of the gospel.
Yeah. Like I get all the things they wanted to do, but it was so poorly done. It was remarkable.
Yep.
All right. Well, Keith, what you got?
Well,
what do you want to plug after that?
I don't really do anything else when I'm out with you guys.
No, you don't.
Folks, check out the Pop-Up Filmcast, where you can hear myself and Derek and others talk about movies that you only wish you actually knew. And also, probably in like a week or so, we're gonna have a small July run of That Was Great, Wasn't It? Where myself and Chris Green, we are watching Bigfoot and the Muscle Machines.
In a week? That's coming up in like 10 days, huh?
July 4th.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Happy birthday, America.
Well, nothing says that like monster trucks, baby.
That's true.
That is true.
Yeah. Just batshit crazy show. But it'll be great. It's just a nice little fun little run we're doing for the month of July.
The month of July. There you go. 4 weeks. What about you, Terry?
Oh, I've got another show I do. We talk about movies. It's called Run the Reel. I believe last week I said we were doing Akira Kurosawa, but I missed a movie. We're actually going to be covering The Batman next, so that'll be exciting. Yeah. We recorded these a long time ago. We recorded it back when it finally came out on HBO, and I was like, we got to watch this again. I want to hear what everybody else thinks about it. So that's what we're doing, and then we'll move on to Akira Kurosawa. But first, we got to get down to business with The Batman.
Yeah, so you watch Vengeance, and then you'll watch Kurosawa, which I think a lot of it is about vengeance.
More vengeance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
As for me, I got nothing. Dun, 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 dun. Just this. Oh man, this is the fuel that has to keep me going for another week.
This
is the Mini-Munsters.
That's well, at least you have something, I guess.
Lord love a duck. Yep. Which I learned is a British phrase.
Is it? Interesting.
Yeah. Something that means like when everything kind of goes wrong or whatever, something like that. You're just like, instead of like, oh shucks, it's like, Lord love a duck.
I'm going to start trying to use that as often as possible.
Double check to make sure that you're using it right. It doesn't really mean like, because ducks have corkscrew penises, so maybe it sounds.
Wait, hold on.
So maybe it has something to do with that. So just double check before you go using it. Like, oh my God, I saw an amazing Twitter thread about like adults that misunderstood the meaning of words and used them in like emails and stuff like that. So this guy was telling a story about how his dad thought a reach around was giving himself a pat on the back. so like he in the emails it's like, we really closed that dig, you're gonna give me a reach around. So
my God,
his dad didn't understand that, and then this other gentleman's like, my wife didn't understand what bukkake meant, and she thought it was just like it just meant like nonsense. And then once she found out what it meant, she's like, I use that in work emails.
Oh jeez.
Like, so my assumption is like, did you hear so and so? And they mean they're just full of bukkake or whatever, right? Which is assuming how it was meant. My God, I laughed way too long at those.
That's like one of my greatest fears. Like I always look something new up. If I see someone using some weird acronym, it's like, okay, I gotta know what that means before I go any further with this.
What was the one in the wrestling episode of the Munsters? Schnook was like, I hope this isn't a slur.
Right.
Could be. And it wasn't.
A lot of fun facts today.
Yeah. Just throwing them out there. And then I also use the term DTF for cartoon teens. So,
hold on. We better check. Do you know what that? Yeah. Do you?
Oh yeah. It means down to finagle, right? I understand what that means.
You know what it does mean? It means that ingenuity,
imagination,
and intelligence. Oh my God, they do not work. They have no dominion here because
it's always hunting season.
The Munster Hunters are Derek Glascock, Keith Gawla, and Terry Vickroy. Keith is the host of the Pop-Up Filmcast, and That Was Great, Wasn't It? Both shows can be found wherever you subscribe to podcasts. For more about Keith's shows, you can follow Pop-Up Filmcast on Twitter at Pop-Up Filmcast. And That Was Great, Wasn't It? At How Great Was That? You can also follow Keith on Twitter at KG3030. Terry is one of the hosts of Run the Reel. It's a movie podcast that does deep dives on films with a theme. You can follow Run the Reel on Twitter at Run the Reel. You can also follow Terry on Twitter at Terry_Vickroy. If you would like more musings from me, you can follow on Twitter at Derek 9 and the word 9. Follow Munster Hunters on Twitter at Munster Hunters and subscribe on your podcatcher of choice for more Munster Hunter fun. Munster Hunters is mixed and edited by me, Derek. All original music is composed and mixed by Terry Vickroy, and executive producers are me and Keith Gawla. The Munster Hunters is a Crispy Dodo production.